Welcome to the Wizarding Wireless Network podcast with me, AJ.
And me, Will.
Together we will be bringing you our no-holds-barred thoughts, opinions and detailed analysis on all things Wizarding World. So with that in mind, grab yourself your first glass of fire whiskey of 2024 and settle into this week's episode of the WWN. I'm a Stanley girl now. I've got a Stanley. Oh, Lord of mercy upon thy heavenly soul.
Welcome to the Wizarding Wireless Network with your hosts AJ and Will, streaming to you on all of your favourite podcast providers and on YouTube. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about Chapter 12, The Mirror of Erised.
Lovely. Love that wee chapter, and especially because it is now after Christmas. Did you have a nice Christmas, William?
I did. It was really, really bizarre to actually have a quiet Christmas because it was just me and Adam this year. We normally have a few family come over during Christmas, but because of all the building work that's been going on, we just thought, actually, let's have a bit of a calmer Christmas, just us two, and just take it easy. And it was lovely, actually. What about
Very
you?
Nice.
How was yours?
It was very quiet. Ewan was working. He was in Barbados and I was in Costa del Croydon. I had a burger and chips for my Christmas dinner and ended up doing the hospice quiz with my friend who works at the hospice.
Did you get any Harry Potter questions?
It was all Christmas related and I kind of checked out. I cannot stand quizzes when it's all in one theme, with the exception of a Harry Potter quiz because I know that I'd be quite good at it. But if it's like a festive quiz and it's 10 rounds on everything Christmas, no.
I mean, to be fair, we had a works Christmas quiz as well. And actually, to be fair, one of the questions was Harry Potter related. It was my day off. And I get a text from work to say, Will, we need your help. It's a Harry Potter question. What was Harry's first Christmas present from the Dursleys?
It's 50p, wasn't it?
And I was like, it's a 50p coin.
Nice little 50p piece.
Yeah. So they text me in mass panic going, we've got a Harry Potter question.
As a side note, have you seen any of the new 50 pence pieces or any new currency with the king's head on it?
No, to be fair, I don't really use cash nowadays. It's all kind of just contactless payments.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I carried cash. To be fair, anytime I ever say that to my mum, she says, who do you think you are, the fucking queen? I'm like, all right.
Well, I do carry, money. It's just not cash.
It's not on my person.
I'm not broke.
I know. You're booze, you're broke,
Broke.
Anywho, so chapter 12.
Yes, talking about Christmas, let's talk about Christmas with Harry.
Yes. His best Christmas ever.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's Christmas at Hogwarts.
Well, I know exactly, and I think because it is going to be his first one, it would be very difficult to try and live up to that. Certainly it was quite sad really to read that whenever it does come to Christmas, because I don't know about you, but whenever I was younger, all my Christmases and stuff, they were always very happy, they were always filled with family, but Harry never ever had that. It's really sad to think that this poor, how old is he at this point, 11-year-old boy, this is his first real taste of Christmas, and the fact that all the Weasleys are staying at Hogwarts, with the exception of Ginny. It'll be nice for him to sort of...
like a little family Christmas where he's kind of around people that he actually wants to be around for once.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's nice, and like you said, it is sad because actually it's taken this long before he's had a Christmas where he's genuinely enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's really sad. And then I was actually really surprised that the Dursleys did actually send him something for Christmas, albeit 50 pence and a Christmas card. But by the same token, I was very surprised at the fact that they had sent them something.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was too. They do they regularly like give him Christmas presents? Is this like a thing that's only just happened because he's now not there for Christmas? I don't know. Like,
I mean, I would imagine they would have given him something, but they would have made it something exceptionally shit.
Yeah, like a Dudley's like hand-me-down.
Yeah.
Obviously, we learn about we're going into Christmas, so obviously it's winter, and it gives a few hints at the start of the chapter as to kind of the ins and outs of what goes on around Christmas time. So we've got things like, obviously it's in Scotland, it's going to be snowing, it's going to be cold. But we've got things like Hagrid helping all the owls because they're delivering so many Christmas presents and so many parcels. But also the fact that the castle itself, albeit what we've imagined, and especially what the films portray as Hogwarts Castle during Christmas, it's like this very nice, festive, cozy, wreaths everywhere. Whereas actually in the books, when you read it, it's the Gryffindor Common Room and the Great Hall had roaring fires going, but then all of the corridors, icy, drafty, cold and bitter.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, albeit it was 1991, but heating bills cause a living crisis, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, could you imagine like trying to heat that castle up?
No, I can't. Well, actually, that is a lie. I can imagine, and I don't think there is any form of excuse to not heat it up, because how many witches and wizards are in that place? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. There's plenty of times that, like, how many like castles have you visited in the UK, and actually, like, every room you go into, there are fireplaces in basically every room.
Yeah, well, in my very limited castle visiting tenure.
Well, you must have been to like Hampton Court and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well, true. Yeah, true. Hampton Court, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I might not have just seen the fireplaces because of all the tapestries that were hanging everywhere. Heads of Henry VIII's wives here, there and everywhere.
Just on plaques, just like, on the wall.
Like the house elves in Grimmauld Place. Here lies Anne Boleyn, dedicated house elf.
So yeah, I don't understand like how the castle is so cold, considering like how well like castles in the UK are like heated, albeit like nowadays they've got modern heating systems and obviously Hogwarts can't. But the fact that they would have had fireplaces dotted around to the point where in the potions classroom they've got mist and steam coming off their breath.
I did, when I read that, I initially just sort of thought that may have been like a personification of how unwelcoming Snape and his classroom is. I mean, Snape kind of reminds me of an old art teacher that I had, because I remember in winter it was absolutely Baltic, and it was the exact same situation that you could breathe and you would see your breath coming out as mist. And I'm sure my old art teacher, she was in the army, and she would walk around the classroom. It was like a massive open plan room, but all the tables were joined together. So it was basically like you were sitting at the Great Hall, and she would walk around the table, do laps of it with her hands behind her back in a very militant fashion. And I'm sure we asked her to close the window one time, and she was chewing gum, and she said, absolutely not. It keeps you awake and keeps you in the moment almost.
Oh my God.
And I was like, yeah,
that's
but
too militant.
I'm like, but it's like -5 outside. Like, my hands are going arthritic. I cannot hold a paintbrush.
My paint's freezing on my brush before it even gets to the canvas.
Exactly.
To be fair, I think I had a teacher very similar to that. Like, it doesn't matter like how cold it was outside, the windows would be open, there'd be barely any heating on in the classroom, and it'd always be that one classroom. Every other teacher, fine. That one classroom, and I think it was maths. I think it was my maths teacher, and she just would not put the heating, like the radiators in that classroom on for love nor money.
It's not as if it was coming out of her pocket, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And the thing is, like, we argued the fact that it's fine for her because she was walking around the classroom, she's moving. We're all stationary, sat at desks, and I was by the window.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cold at the best of times. Let alone next to a freezing opening window.
Oh, absolutely not. I'd have went straight to Ofsted.
Exactly. I came out blue.
Yeah.
So we have got Christmas at Hogwarts. We have got the aftermath of the Quidditch game that Harry has won. Now, albeit Malfoy is, let's say, a little bit distraught. He is
fuming.
He is absolutely guns blazing, trying to take down Harry after this. And one of the things that he's mentioning is the fact that sooner or later, is it a toad or a frog? I think it's a wide-mouthed tree frog is going to replace Harry as the next Seeker.
But then, arguably, would that be able to stay on its broom? If it was being bucked around like Harry was? Highly doubtful.
Well, I think this is the struggle that Malfoy faced, is the fact that he's trying to taunt Harry with the fact that he swallowed the snitch to catch it. Whereas actually people were so impressed by the fact that Harry was able to stay on his broom whilst trying to throw him off, that kind of just overshadowed anything that Malfoy was trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like, stop it, hun, because it ain't happening. It's like, I'm great. I caught the snitch. I inhaled that snitch.
Fetch is not going to happen.
It's like, you're not on my level. You will never be on my level. Try as you might with that Nimbus 2001 next year. You will never be on my level. Enough. C'est fini.
When he realised that was not working, he just got more and more jealous and angry. So I think this is then showing the pettiness of Malfoy coming out even more. And again, I think it's something that's really missing from the film version is that rivalry, that constant drip feeding of Malfoy just there in the background.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think in the films, it's very much a case of like, well, actually, Harry can quite easily get away from Malfoy during like term time. Whereas actually, if you think about school, and if you've got someone that you really don't get on well with, you can't really get away from them. They're just there. They're in the back of the class. They're just around you all the time, no matter what you do. And I think that's very much missing in the films, and why you don't then see a lot of Draco actually in the films, and why he's more of a bully in the books. Yeah,
I do think that when it comes to Tom Felton, right enough, he wasn't really that well represented, I think, in the movies, because there was a lot, when you read the books, there's a lot more Draco action as opposed to the movies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could have done a lot more with his character.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot more lines, a lot more scenes in the books that are just completely missing. And the thing is, Tom Felton really played up the character in the films.
Absolutely, it was phenomenal.
And because he could ad-lib lines, like, that were just so on point to what Draco would say, it's a shame that they didn't utilise that more. And that it was only really reserved for the scenes that he had to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, Tom Felton played him phenomenally. I don't think I can imagine another actor playing him. I genuinely can't. But the funny thing is, when you see Tom Felton actually as an actor and as a person, because we've been very fortunate enough to meet him, he is the complete and total polar opposite of Draco Malfoy. He is one of the nicest men I have ever met in my life. Yeah,
honestly, he's so approachable and friendly, and honestly, like, I think, to reiterate, like, the fact that we've managed to meet him as well and actually be in the same room as him, and actually when he came in, he was just so enthusiastic about kind of just being surrounded by people who were into Harry Potter just as much, like, because the thing is, he's almost like a genuine fan.
Oh, absolutely. He's sort of there, I would say, with Sam Thompson. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, with the same level of enthusiasm.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, I think, tops anyone in terms of enthusiasm for Harry Potter. I think, like, he is, like, the pinnacle of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But absolutely, like, you couldn't have someone host it who is more wanting to be, like, connected to the Wizarding world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What else was I going to say? Well, I've just found a little thing that I had. I'd put a little note in at the start of this chapter, and it was about when it came to Christmas at Hogwarts. You seen the Weasley twins; they were punished for bewitching several snowballs so that they follow Professor Quirrell about, and that they would bounce off the back of his turban. Could you imagine? If that turban had fallen off?
Just one loose strap just unravelled just to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Just
underneath Voldemort's and then he's like, Quirrell, what have I told you? I'm
Safety
not ready.
pin.
Safety pin. I can't deal with sunlight.
Wig glue, bitch.
Wig glue. Anywho.
You haven't actually got coffee in there, have you?
No, it's just water.
Okay. I was thinking coffee at this time.
Oh, caffeine has no effect on me.
I have my uppers in the morning and my downers in the evening.
Literally. So with that being said, after potions, we then slip back into the main plot of this storyline, which is at the moment trying to work out who exactly Nicholas Flamel is. The man, the mystery, the legend.
So this is kind of where the book is weaving in and out of being similar to the book. Did I say the book or the film? The film.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where the film is kind of weaving back and forth between being its own standalone plot and actually what the book is saying. So you've got Hermione coming in and asking the boys to look up and start searching for any hints, any remnants of Nicholas Flamel.
Now, can you imagine, right, if you were Hermione, how confident would you feel leaving these two boys that you have had several run-ins with go to the library, not to mention probably the restricted section at some point in this chapter? How confident would you feel as Hermione? I bet you her arse was making buttons the whole Christmas holiday.
Well, I wouldn't trust Harry or Ron as far as I could throw them at that point.
No.
And I must admit, I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to stuff like that. So
Never.
I wouldn't let that kind of go out my sight. I would have to be fully either there and present to direct them or just do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? I mean, I just can't imagine letting that letting the boys do it.
No, for something that important, I would say I would need to be there, guns blazing.
I think this is also
send an owl back to mum and dad, care of the dentist via Robbie Fenwick, what have you. I'd be like, Saws, mum, dad, staying at Hogwarts this Christmas, need to do important stuff. RE library.
Hope the stitches are healing up.
I know. See you in summer.
Honestly, I don't understand. I think actually it's quite a testament though to Hermione is the fact that one, she's able to trust them at such an early stage.
Yeah.
But
well,
also,
to be fair, I mean, I think, saving you from a fully grown 12-foot mountain troll, that I would trust them.
It warrants some respect.
Exactly. It's a bit of give and take. It's like, you save me from this massive troll, I will let you go to the library on your own to look up this one name.
You may enter my domain.
I think that is fair.
Yeah. You may enter my domain and see what I have to put up with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's also the fact that Hermione's already tried her ways of looking things up and hasn't pulled anything out of the hat.
Yeah, very true. She might feel a little bit inferior at that point, or she might have that superiority complex kind of diminished a little bit.
The thing is, research is her thing and she hasn't been able to do it.
Can you imagine though, like Harry, Ron, and Hermione going to Hogwarts, like maybe just say 20 years on from when they were supposed to go? Google Hermione Granger. I'm sorry, like her fingers would be like that all the time.
Oh, right, yeah. Literally, like, burning holes in the keyboard.
Exactly. Ron writing every essay on ChatGPT.
Harry just copying and pasting out of, like, all of the references.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Wikipedia?
Possibly. I think that might have been a Simpsons joke, actually, that I may have just stolen. I'm sure I watched it the other night.
Oh, what, the Halloween one?
No, I think Lisa was perhaps going to be a witch, so she's joined up this coven, and instead of Wikipedia, it was Wikipedia, like Wicca. It made me chuckle at the time.
Well, I mean, let's talk about that entrance scene. So obviously, it's very close to what we have in the films in terms of this scene. And actually, what that scene always gets me, where you have Flitwick raising his wand, putting up all of the baubles onto all of the trees, and it's just such a, like, get ready for Christmas feel, like, to have that playing whilst you're decorating your house.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely adore it. I think I even had it on when I was putting my Christmas tree up last year. I think. I'm pretty sure I did. Did I?
What did you have playing this year?
I've not done it yet this year.
No, putting... No, oh, well, stop being pedantic.
No, I do. I think it was Philosopher's Stone when I had it going up. Saying that I had Goblet of Fire on today when I took it down, which was heartbreaking. Right. Although my watching Goblet of Fire with Ewan in the background was quite funny, because he has probably only seen it. I don't even think he's seen a full movie the whole way through, which I am working on. It's taken me 9 years to get to this point, so bear with me. But we were watching the second task, and some of his comments had me in absolute stitches. Like he was saying. So what was it he said? It was so Harry was trying to get, the whole gillyweed business, and then when he was going under the water, Ewan said, he's cheating. And I said, how is he cheating? And he said, he's got gills. And I was like, well, how else is this supposed to breathe underwater for an hour? And he was like, oh, is that what they're supposed to do? I'm like, yeah. And he says, has everybody else got gills? I said, no. And he was like, oh. But how did Harry get the gills? And I said, well, he used gillyweed. And he said, where did he get gillyweed from? I said, he got it from Neville. And he said, he got it from Neville, who wasn't even in the game. Harry Potter sits on a throne of lies. And I'm like, all right. And then as the movie sort of progressed, it was I went into the shower and then came back out, and it was now on to the third task, and he said, this is a very dangerous game, why are they playing it at a school?
I think the question on everyone's lips.
Pretty much. And he said, does anybody die in this? And then I was like, well, yeah. And I said, who dies? Does what's his face die? Crimson Crumb. And I was like, who? like Crimson Crumb. I'm like, you mean Victor Crumb, dear? And he was like, yeah. And I said, no, he doesn't die. And he said, does Harry Potter die? And I was like, well, this is the fourth movie, and we've got 4 more to go after this, so I'm going to say no. And then it says, does Robert Pattinson die? And I said, yes, he dies.
And no, he doesn't turn into a vampire at the end.
No, he does not. But then when I said, yes, he dies, he said, well, why are they still playing when there's a dead boy? And I'm like, well, he's not dead yet. Gameplay ceased after he died. Chill.
Right at the end.
Right at the end. It did make you wonder, though, why bring it back?
Exactly. If the last person got killed in the last one, it's not going to make any difference.
It's like very Hunger Games, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Oh my god, could you imagine that crossover?
I would love it.
I would love Hunger Games. Oh, yes.
So you've got 2 tributes from every house in Hogwarts, every house in Beauxbatons, every house in Durmstrang, just to even out the odds a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But open it up to every year. Could you imagine Colin Creevy in the Triwizard Tournament going like, what the fuck do I do? Where's my camera? I'll take a picture of everything. First to go, he's gone. Gone.
Neville just going like, I volunteer as tribute.
Could you? Nev, I don't know how he would, like, depending on what stage he was at. This is a whole...
Later years. This is like year 7.
Do you know what? I could talk for hours on this because this is opening up a whole other can of worms for me. Oh.
What, who would you put in your Harry Potter Hunger Games?
Like, who would I like to see? Because it's got to be all pupils.
Yeah.
Right. Right, I'll probably go... Oh, this is interesting. I would love to see Pansy Parkinson in it from Slytherin. But largely because I think she'd be really good at it, because she'd be ruthless. She
would be like... who is it in the first Hunger Games?
The one that gets stung by all the bees. Her.
No. The one who's with Kato.
Aye, does she not get stung by the bees?
No, that's the blonde one.
Well, what happens to her then?
She gets choked. She gets choked by the guy and smashed against the plane.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time, William. I jest. No, I can't remember her. But yeah, I've got the vibes for her. I think she'd be really good. Who else in Slytherin? Who else in Slytherin would be a good fighter? Ruthless. No.
I would say Marcus Flint. Because he doesn't take any, like... He takes quite a lot of risks. I wouldn't put it past him.
No, I wouldn't put it past him either. I would probably also go for purely based on Goyle and Deathly Hallows Part 2. I would put him in the Hunger Games because he's been like itching to use that dark magic. He's ruthless. He's like, I will do whatever I need to do. I can see him doing it. So that's my 2 tributes from Slytherin.
Okay.
Hufflepuff.
Well, this is the thing. All the Hufflepuffs are too nice. Like they wouldn't want to be in it. They would be like picked out of a hat. They'd be proper like prize draw.
I know, but then again, who have we got? Let me see who's actually in Hufflepuff.
You've got Zachariah Smith.
Oh, he is a wanker. Get
like,
him in because I would gladly pay. I'd be like, yeah, get him, Pansy, get him. Right, let me see. Oh, wait a minute, we're going back. Who's she? Don't know her, don't know. Hannah Abbott, get her in. She's a twat. I'm just kind of rhyming off people that I want to actually go into this Hunger Games to die, because I really don't like them.
What about Tonks? Because obviously Tonks is a Hufflepuff. Now, bear in mind, they don't have to be in the same year. They could just have to be...
Right, do you know what? I'm going to say this. So the 2 people that I actually want to go into this from Hufflepuff. I want Ernie McMillan and Hannah Abbott, purely because they are cannon fodder. I want them to go.
See, I would probably agree with Ernie, but I probably want Ernie and Zacharias.
No, if we're doing one boy, one girl. But fair, right, okay, fair play, I get your point. But no, I fully want the 2 of them. They annoy me to the core. To the core. Right, Ravenclaw. Who have we got in Ravenclaw?
So, Ravenclaw. You've got, like, Cho Chang. You've got Luna Lovegood. You've got...
Marietta Edgecombe.
Yes. Who's the one, Hermione? Penelope Clearwater.
Oh, yeah. No, who would I like? I wouldn't mind seeing Luna Lovegood in the Hunger Games, and I'll tell you for why, right? Because she would be very much the underdog, right? And people would go like, oh, she's a bit loopy. She would be like, she'd be
the District 4s.
No.
Is it District 4s with like the techie people?
Probably. But no, I think she would be like Peeta. Because you know, in that way, it's kind of like how, oh yeah, my skills as a baker will help me blend into the environment, and he like basically bakes himself into a rock. That's the kind of stuff Luna would do. I could totally see that for her.
Okay, yeah, I can do
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me see.
You've also got Michael Corner. You've got Terry Boot. You've got Marcus Belby is a Ravenclaw.
Is he?
Apparently.
Is he?
I thought he was Slytherin.
So did I.
Maybe he's Slytherin in the film.
I've cracked it. Gilderoy Lockhart. Yes, please.
Wait, before or after Memory Charms?
Or before. The height of arrogance. Because I think it would just be comical to watch.
Who am I thinking of then from Ravenclaw who's the boy? Because isn't Fleur ends up dancing with someone from Ravenclaw?
Oh, Roger Davies.
Is that who it is?
I don't know if he's in... Is he in Ravenclaw, though?
Yes. No, he is. He is. Roger Davies. Here we go. Yeah. I would have...
Oh, and Roger
Davies. Yeah. But she's already dead. She doesn't count.
Yeah, true.
But that's cheating.
I know, but she wouldn't last a single minute. As soon as that countdown goes down, she'd be gone.
It's like... Ooh.
In Gryffindor, who would I have? Book Ginny.
Okay.
I'm trying to kind of think who I would have.
Seamus?
Well, do you know the only reason I'm
have
thinking
some
of these...
pyrotechnics in there?
Well, I know, but do you know the only reason why I'm going to say no to them is because I'm trying to think of people who haven't done a lot in the Battle of Hogwarts that we didn't get to see stuff. Do you know what I mean? So like,
okay.
So I'm trying to think who else would be quite good. I was just looking on the Wikipedia page, and it says like children Panju Weasley, and I'm like, who the hell is Panju Weasley? And then I was like, Cursed Child.
What?
Yeah.
For what? Padma?
Yeah. So she has a son, I think, with Ron in The Cursed Child.
In an alternative reality. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. It gets very like heavy.
Okay, I kind of feel like I need to see The Cursed Child, but like at the same time, I'm like,
it's a total mind boggle, but it is worth seeing. That much I will say. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay, I'll give it a go eventually, just not right now.
Who will I have? I think I will have Percy Weasley.
Okay, because you want to see him go?
Yeah, pretty much. Like
okay.
you only really got a taste of what he was capable of doing in the end of Deathly Hallows.
Not Charlie? See a bit more with him? Like, he would be
true.
like...
Yeah, true.
He'd be like quite good in it as well.
Yeah, I changed that, actually, yeah. I rescind that comment, yes, Charlie Weasley.
Like, Percy to see him, like, get killed off, but at the same time, like, Charlie because you want, like, a decent, like... fair fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I would watch that. I would watch that.
There we go.
Waiting for that spin-off to happen.
I know.
So obviously we left that at Hermione taking the time to go to the boys and asking them to go through the library. Now obviously they have that conversation in front of Hagrid, and I've just read through and it's the conversation that they have to Hagrid regarding going into the library. And I always forget like how kind of like this is such like a kid's response, but also it's very clever of them.
Yep.
And it's Hagrid's like, the library? Bit keen, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh no, we're not working. Ever since you mentioned Nicholas Flamel, we've been trying to find out who he is. You what? Listen here, I've told you. Drop it. It's nothing to you. What, that dog's garden? We've just wanted to know who Nicholas Flamel is, that's all. Unless you'd like to tell us and save us all the trouble. We must have been through 100 books already, and we can't find him anywhere. Just give us a hint. I know I've read his name somewhere. I'm not saying nothing.
But it just goes to show the amount of perseverance it took.
Exactly. It's like, this is not just like a quick, like, nip to the library, like, figure things out. This is like, they're spending like a lot of time trying to figure this out.
It's a lot of investment.
It's a huge investigation.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, like, the bit that I don't understand is for someone who is a well-renowned alchemist, is only mentioned in one book in the library.
Yeah. It does make you wonder, like, has he done stuff in the past that's got him written out of things?
Redacted.
Redacted. Flamel. Redacted.
But yeah, it's just like, I don't know whether it's the fact that Dumbledore had removed the books that mentioned him.
I don't know.
It's just like, is that literally the only mention of him in the school books? I mean, like you said, like, they're not at computers where they can just Google this guy's name.
I know, very true.
But do you not think, like, maybe Dumbledore's just trying to get rid of evidence in the library as to kind of who he is?
Well, saying that, I mean, that is one possibility. But then again, why would Dumbledore go to that amount of effort just to try and get rid of Nicholas Flamel's name from the school? Because as far as he knows, nobody's going to be looking for it.
True.
Up until this point, he doesn't know that Harry, Ron and Hermione are kind of putting things together.
True, and the thing is, at the end of the day, he already knows that Voldemort is going to already knows about it and already knows who invented it. So it's not like he's trying to protect it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
It just surprises me that, like, out of all of the books, and it's like notable magic names of our time, I'm like, and Flamel is not in that book.
But saying that, when was that published? Was that pre or post invention of the Philosopher's Stone? We don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't say. So it's like, you've got great wizards of the 20th century, notable magical names of our time, important modern magical discoveries.
Well, I'm going to say that the Philosopher's Stone was not modern.
Well, the trouble is, it depends on when it was founded.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, like, if Nicholas Flamel was 666 at the time of Philosopher's Stone, so just say, at what age did he discover it? I mean, when you think about how old he was in Crimes of Grindelwald, Crimes of Grindelwald, it was probably, in his 80s, 90s?
Yeah.
Looking at him. So it was at least 500 and something odd years before.
True. Okay. But even still, like, okay, so you've got so Nicholas Flamel, sometime in the 14th century, made the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I suppose that they're not looking far enough back in time.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
But I still think he would be in notable magical names of our time.
Or, well, saying that, at this point, do you think, who was it? Who read this bit? I'm just trying to think, was it Ron or Harry or Hermione?
To be fair, yeah, if it's one of the boys, they probably skim-read it.
Exactly. They've just read the abstract. They've not read the full article. They've read abstract and conclusion. That's it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Anywho. But with that, we then go on to actual Christmas Day.
Yep. So Hermione has left the boys to it, and we are left with them celebrating Christmas.
Absolutely. So for Christmas, Harry gets his Christmas present of a 50 pence piece, which he gives to Ron because he is absolutely dumbfounded by Muggle money.
I still find that really sweet and endearing, is the fact that like something that is so mundane to us, and is yet so like Ron is so like his dad in that regards.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the fact that like a 20p piece or 50p piece, sorry, that we as readers are going like, oh, that's nothing. He's finding like so interesting and completely like analysing it.
Yeah, it's so sweet. It's so sweet. But then we get the absolutely iconic Christmas jumper.
Yeah. I mean, have you got a Weasley jumper?
I haven't actually. Have you?
Have you not? I have. It is not an official one because they don't do my initial. But I have got a Cookie and Rookie with Sting Weasley sweater.
Say that, I thought they do it every letter.
Well, they do now, but I haven't then got one. I got this one quite a while back.
Okay, fair enough. But back in the day,
you could only get your Harry, your H's and your R's, and that was it. As far as it went. And unfortunately, I didn't have enough money for a Mr. Malkin official woolen sweater.
Yeah. Hey ho, they are really nice. I might get one for next Christmas, actually. This Lockhaven one, I got this for Christmas last year, which I absolutely love.
Oh, they're like the warmest things ever.
I know, they really are. They really are. But, albeit we did get the absolutely iconic Christmas jumper from Mrs. Weasley, we then get one of the most important gifts that Harry will ever receive throughout his life, and that is the invisibility cloak.
Yes, and obviously, even at this point, we don't really... Like, it's very cool to see, but as a reader, you just don't know the significance of it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
what makes it even more interesting is the fact that it comes from a very mysterious, unsigned letter.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this is one of the things that the movie did really well in translating over from the book.
Yeah, because I think actually it really helps solidify the fact that this is something that's going to keep cropping up. The mystery is of who sent it and where it's come from is part of that longer story, those breadcrumbs. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm just trying to think, when did we actually find out it was Dumbledore who sent it? Is it at the end of this book? Yeah, it was. It's the end of Philosopher's Stone. Harry asked Dumbledore if he knew who sent it, and he admitted then it was him.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you are. The more you know, as they say. But yeah, so this is another little breadcrumb. I'll say it a little. It's quite a massive breadcrumb. It's a full loaf, if you will, that's been dangled for us and spread throughout this book. But as we know, the invisibility cloak gets used numerous times throughout the books, throughout the movies. It's one of my absolute favourite prop replicas, I would say. I think some of the ones that I've seen out there, they are quite well done, but it would be very difficult to actually create one out of the same fabric. Saying that, the one at the Warner Brothers Studio Tour in Gringotts, I really like that. It's a really nice piece.
Oh yes, the one in the Gringotts set, the one that's kind of like that meshy material and like semi see-through. Yes. I think actually that is probably my favourite version of the cloak, is that one that they used to film through. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyway, when it comes to the invisibility cloak, there will be numerous adventures that we'll cover on throughout the remainder of the episodes. But with the excitement of Christmas presents being unwrapped, we now move over onto Christmas dinner, which something Harry has never seen in his entire life. And if I'm being honest, it's something I have never seen in my entire life, and I would absolutely die to be invited to a Hogwarts Christmas, because the description that goes into the numerous amount of food items, the festivities, it just sounds phenomenal. It sounds like my kind of Christmas. It sounds like absolutely my kind of Christmas, full of family, friends, laughter, and a lot of fatty food, which is fine by me.
And to be fair, like the fact that it's so much food, and there's only like ever a handful of students who are left in Hogwarts when everyone else has gone home. Like it is your typical Christmas of everyone has way too much to eat.
Yeah.
There's way too much food for the amount of people that's actually there.
Yeah.
It is your like quintessential Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that is missing is a sparkling bottle of champagne.
Well, exactly. I think that's reserved for the teacher's lounge.
Well, probably.
But absolutely, I think that is a trip down to the Three Broomsticks afterwards to walk off the very big Christmas dinner.
Do you think the teachers do that at Christmas? Saying that, do we know
100%.
but saying that, do we know how many teachers actually stay at Hogwarts over Christmas?
I'd assume they all did, because that...
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, because like I do often wonder, like, apart from Snape, he's the only person that we really know that does have another home outside of Hogwarts.
Mm. And the thing is, it's like every other, like, I think it's the... So obviously when in Prisoner of Azkaban, they're there over Christmas.
Yeah.
And you've got Trelawney, you've got McGonagall, you've got Snape, you've got Hagrid, you've got Dumbledore. They're all mentioned as sitting at the table.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether Filch is invited to this Christmas dinner, but...
Well, it does say that he is, because the white mice had disappeared and Harry had a very nasty feeling they were going to end up as Mrs. Norris's Christmas dinner. Mm-hmm. So I do think they will be there. So, after Christmas, we then move on to Harry using the invisibility cloak for the first time, where he takes a nocturnal prowl throughout Hogwarts. And what does he find upon his travels to the library?
A dead student.
Not yet, that's in Chamber of Secrets.
Right, sorry, wrong book.
Remember, Justin Finch Fletchley.
He finds the restricted section.
He does find the restricted section. I must admit, if that was me, I would certainly use the invisibility cloak to go and look at all those restricted books. I'd be like, what are you not wanting me to look at?
What magic don't you want us to learn?
I know.
Now, it always confuses me with the restricted section. So, is it the fact that it's restricted just to certain years and you're only allowed in there when you're at a certain year? Or is it the fact that you have to always get teacher's permission for a certain, like, essay or something to go in there?
Well, I think so.
Because I never really understand, like, the point of a restricted section.
No, because surely if a book was going to be that dangerous, then it wouldn't actually be in Hogwarts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the confusing bit. It's like the whole thing about Horcruxes. Why would that book be in a library that's accessible to teenagers?
But then again, by the same token, I think it was only there because they were studying advanced defense against the dark arts. So it would only be for like year 7 students who are essentially going to be like, who are essentially adults at this point.
But then it's like, what limit do you go to the restricted section? It's like, can you only get into restricted section after like years 5? Or if you're year 3, you can still get in there, but what, you just happen to stumble across the book that a year 7 is allowed to read? Like,
I know that when it comes to certain texts, like whenever it's been referenced throughout the series, if they had to go to the restricted section and get a specific book for, just say, a specific essay, they give the note to Madam Pince, and I imagine she would go and get it for them. Do you know what I mean? So instead of just saying, right, you've got 5 minutes, go in, free reign, it's a case of, no, this is the book that you need, and you can't take it out. You need to do your work in the library, kind of type thing.
Yeah, like that stays. Well, I suppose that's what the whole point of like the books being chained to the bookcases was.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't physically like take the book away with you.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously Harry is rooting around and stumbles across a book that starts screaming. Now, I think they actually did this quite well as the film adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Of actually having like the face come out of the book. But obviously that then scares Harry, and he then has to quickly duck and hide.
Filch is doing the rounds. Filch is on the prowl. But when he gets interrupted by dear old Mr. Filch, he slides himself into a classroom and he finds the one and only Mirror of Erised.
Yes, the Mirror of Erised, the name of the chapter, the focus of this whole debacle.
Yes. And of course, Harry sees his dear old mum and dad. Now, at this point, he doesn't actually know what the whole issue with the mirror is. He doesn't understand why he's seen his mum and dad. But then, of course, he goes to get dear old Ron, and he would like to see his mum and dad. But alas, they do not appear for dear old Ron Weasley.
Yes.
They do
and
not.
I think it's quite interesting that it's written on the mirror exactly the answer that is what the Mirror of Erised shows. And I think it's very clever, the fact that it's all backwards. It's meant to be like this ancient text, but actually it's just the sentence written backwards.
Yeah, it's just English.
It's a really clever and really nice touch, the fact that it's mirrored backwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the fact that even the word Erised is desire backwards.
Yeah, spelled backwards.
So it's all of those little touches that I think just make just the choices of the world building even more like tangible. It's never something that's too out there. It's never, when you read any of these books, it's never too nebula, that you don't have to think too hard about it.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes the books so easy to read and so nice to read as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, they both see two very different things. Harry, his parents, and Ron, his
holding
Quidditch,
the Quidditch
World
Cup.
Now, if you were to stand in front of the Mirror of Erised, then AJ, what is it you would see?
Oh, I don't know. Probably quite similar to Harry. I would like to see all my family again.
That'd be quite nice.
You know, like my dad, my uncle, grandparents, that kind of thing. What about you?
I think that's quite tricky because it's like you never know quite what your heart desires. You always kind of think like, oh yeah, no, this is what I want. But actually, is that really what you want?
What you really, really want?
Yeah. Give me a say, I don't know, actually. I think it would be... It sounds really sad. I feel like I'm waiting for like a therapist to break this down of like just... I think just having validation.
Okay.
Of like something that showed validation or like that recognition of like doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that always has been lacking. Like I've never had like people just say like, oh no, actually no, what you do is really good. It's really like to a high standard and like really, really proud of what you do. I think that's something that I would probably have in there.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like it's a therapist's dream.
Oh, literally,
I would see in the Mirror of Erised. We have Harry introduce, obviously, the Mirror of Erised in such an ecstatic way to Ron, only to find out that it is going to be moved to a new location because he has visited the mirror so many times because he has become, let's say, a little bit obsessed
just
with
tad.
Seeing this, that Dumbledore has caught him in the act.
He has. Now, in this scene, it is probably one of my favourites because Dumbledore delivers a quote which I try and live by so much. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live, which I think everybody is a bit guilty of. Yeah.
And the thing is, in extension, it's the fact that it's like with modern day of like looking at social media, looking at kind of what other people are doing and like living vicariously through what other people are doing and actually forgetting to live that yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's one thing to have dreams and aspirations, but actually act on them, to actually do them. Like, that's the point of living. That's the point of life.
Absolutely.
I think there's so many good Dumbledore quotes throughout the books, and this is definitely one of those ones that is like quotable in a picture, get it framed, get it on the wall.
Yeah. It's like essentially the Wizarding World equivalent of Live, Laugh, Love. But nowhere near as tacky. If you have a Live, Laugh, Love sign on your wall, instant judgment.
Honestly, just no. Get that down. It doesn't matter whether it is framed, whether it's blocked, and like 3D writing that's on your mantelpiece. Just get rid of it. Throw it in the bin.
Bin it. That is a firm no. But with that being said, I would ask you, my dear listeners, what would you see if you looked in the Mirror of Erised? I will post a question on our Instagram and we will reveal your answers next week.
Yes. So I want to see kind of what you guys would see, and actually what is your deepest desire, and actually, like, is that something that you would actually want to see, or is that something that your heart desires? That would be actually like whether or not it's the same, or if there is a difference.
Exactly. It does put that philosophical question, does the heart want what the head wants, and vice versa?
Yeah, I think it is a difficult question to answer.
Yeah, 100%. Saying that, if I did look in the Mirror of Erised, what I would really like to see, aside from, the whole family lovey-dovey stuff, is a working wand.
Yes, yeah, honestly. Like, fuck the Mirror of Erised, like, I just want the wand.
Yeah.
Like, make this work for me.
Anywho, that's you.
Yes, make sure you go over to Instagram, make sure you let us know what you want to see in the Mirror of Erised, and we will let you guys know our top favourite answers.
Lovely. So, with that being said, Will, what are we talking about next week? We are going to be talking about Hogwarts, a history. Disclaimer, very brief history.
Yeah, we're talking about modern history.
Modern.
So yes, we have been busy beavering away in the background whilst we've been having our Christmas break, working out a schedule of episodes for this year for you guys to listen to. And obviously we hope that you will join us for this year as we work our way through the rest of the Harry Potter books and through the rest of Philosopher's Stone. So, with that being said, as always, thank you so much for listening. Keep your radios tuned in for next week's episode. If you haven't already, make sure to favourite our podcast, make sure you never miss an episode, or subscribe to our YouTube channel to see our pretty faces every week. And make sure you go over to our Instagram and follow our page to stay tuned for all of the updates and filling in the questions that we have for you guys.
That's the one.
I did it.
You did it. Well done.
Okay.
Just need to do it again next week and the week after.
And the week after that. So thank you guys so much for listening, and
see you next week.
Kindest regards.
Cheerio.